and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life that is Father God, Allah. I just want to say, let's open up the windows of our heart. Listen to the Spirit, the words of the prophet, the everlasting gospel, the saving power to come from Allah to an ancient fathers by his prophet. I want to go to chapter 10. Divine instruction from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 10. Jesus spake of the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. Benares is the city of the bronze. And in Benares, Jesus taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests. And many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Jesus says to them, with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Allah is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a trail from the center to the outer bound of life. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in the sheath. The birds sing out a song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ants construct his home, the bee is sheltering comb, the spider weave her web, and flower breathe for them a spirit in their sweet perfume that give them strength to toil. Now, man and bird and beast and creeping things are deities made flesh. How dare you kill anything? It's cruelty that makes the world awry. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves. They surely would not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. A lawyer says, I pray to Jesus. Tell, who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temple, and his shrine? And Jesus says, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor edged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship Allah, the one, but all people see him not alike. The universe Allah is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune Allah. One see him as Allah as might, another as Allah of thought, another as Allah of love. A man ideals is his God. So, as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nation of the earth see Allah from different points of view. And so, he does not seem the same to everyone. Man named the part of Allah he sees, and this to him is all of Allah. And every nation has a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Brahms, called him Para-Brahm. In Egypt he's Thor. And Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name. But everywhere, he is the causeless cause, the rootless root, from which all things have grown. When men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garb and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayer. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayer, to buy him off the sacrifice of animal or birds. When men see Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, my Father God Allah. And then he lays his hand in Allah's own hand, and all is well. And this is Allah. You are each one a priest just for yourself. And sacrifice of blood Allah does not want. Just give your life as sacrifice of service to the all of life, and Allah is pleased. When Jesus had just said, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove amongst themselves. Some says, he is inspired by the Holy Brahm. And others says, he is insane. And others says, he is obsessed. He speaks as devil speaks. But Jesus tarried not. Amongst the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Jesus spoke, and Jesus went with him and in his own abode. Praise Allah. For reading the entire chapter, divine instruction from the Holy Prophet, chapter 10. Jesus spake of the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus, the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, to know their higher self and lower self. This united of Holy Quran in Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish American, etc. From the Holy Quran in Moorish South of America, knowing yourself and your Father God Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate.
That's right.
Every man needs to worship under his whole vine and fig tree, uniting of ages. I'm these now open up on to the Prophet's laws. I'd like to be glad to hear to be my brothers and sisters. Pray Allah for allowing us to be here. Pray Allah for gathering us in these sacred groves. Pray Allah for allowing us to look at the divine instruction from our Prophet. Let it open up the windows of our heart and receive the spirit of what the Prophet talks. The word is the spirit the Prophet talks about. Every word he speaks is spirit. This is a beautiful lesson. Because Jesus was, where did he keep? India, Africa, and Europe. So, he was demonstrating with these brothers. Because by the question that they asked, there was off course. The lawyer said, where is your priest, where your temple, where your shrine? He broke it down to them. This Allah you speak of, you can have your compassion walls, and everybody bow to any kind. That's why I said we are blessed because the Prophet teaches us that Allah and man are one from the beginning. You see? And he teaches us to respect other people and their religion and their belief. We don't get caught up in the debates. When you talk about the Berry-Bey, the sacred river of the Brahm, and the Berry-Bey, Jesus taught him. Udraka was his host. Udraka was a master healer. He taught him some of the science. So that's what he said. He sat with the patriarch, he sat with masters of olden time and time. And he taught him all the science of using the elements. You understand what I'm saying? The power within itself. So that's a blessing. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born heathen priests and scribed within. That's just like a human equality, the same thing. He had a feast. He invited everyone to come. Everyone came, amongst them thieves, extortioners, and courtesans. They who followed was agreed. Those were the same priests. They was the same priests. They who followed was agreed because he sat with thieves and courtesans. And they told him, men will shun you as they shun the snake. And he put it on them. And let them know. Their souls are just as precious in this sight as yours, and you Brahmic priests. You men will look at them with scorn. So you can't scorn a person. Because when you find out that when man harm and thought word is either another man, he done it wrong to Allah. So you got to be careful how you think, how you act. That's why I say we need this gospel. Our Asiatic need this gospel because what it does, it put them in line to receive the God-man and the God-woman like shit. See, that's what they keep them in line. They keep them right in line to receive that everlasting gospel, the saving power. Because you got to open up your windows of your heart. You got to receive it. And he says, the universal Allah is one, yet he's more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a trill from the center to the outer bound of life. That's what they're talking about, the universal brotherhood, universal sisterhood. It's one. We connected to each other. And one chapter he said, every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love, and not demand love in return. So this is our guideline. This is our pattern that the prophet set for us.
Right.
This is the footprint that he set. And we got to follow that footprint. Because when we talk about Jesus, speak about the unity of Allah, man to the prophet, he's talking about double duality. Because he said, when those who were with me 2,000 years ago were with me, and those who was against me was against me. So he was love made manifest. See? And you had to straighten him out. That's why I said a lot of times he spent a lot of time. And the brother was talking about how Jesus was dealing with, Asst. And I was going through the chapters, and he said, all the cities, not just one, all the cities of Asst Jesus taught. Like attack by the riverside he taught. Mm-hmm. See, in all the cities. So he wasn't, like John was in the temple 18 years, but Jesus was teaching.
Right.
And getting instruction, sitting with the masters of olden time and climb. That's why he was able to grasp. Because like I'm saying, when you look at the history of Jesus, the prophet, because when we talk about Jesus, we talk about our prophet Abu Ali. We don't separate. That's why every nation glorifies his name. So don't get caught up because they call him Jesus. They call him the same Abu Ali. Mm-hmm. The spirit, the same spirit of the one, the spirit of truth.
That's right.
And then he talked about how he said, by the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of the living thing, you send a trill from the center to the outer bound of life. Just like if you drop a rock in the ocean, the ripples keep going and going and going and going. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in the sheep. And it tells about the birds. It said the birds sing out a song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ants construct his home, the bees shelter in comb, the spider weave earthware and flower. Breathe for them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. So you see, everything is all connected, and you talk about this ecological system. How everything is intertwined and intermingled. Because they talk about the ocean, the river, the rise, it's all come back from the center to the outer bound of life. So praise Allah for this. And then he said, now men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh. How dare you kill anything? It's cruelty. It's cruelty that makes the world arise. When man learned that when he harm a living thing, they harm themselves. They surely will not kill nor cause anything that Allah has made to suffer pain. So we got to be careful. You got to be careful. Because we said when man harm in thought, word, or deed, another man, he done a wrong to Allah, so we got to be careful. And he also said in one of the chapters, said the thought of affliction wounded deeper than affliction itself. So even just to think a thought about another person, you know what I'm saying? Wounded deeper than the affliction itself. So praise Allah. Praise Allah. And then here we go. A lawyer said, I prayed to Jesus. Tell, who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temple, and his shrine? They asked that because that's what they were doing in India. They had all these shrines, they had all these things, they had sacrifice and everything else. So when Jesus came, he came to put them back in order. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I know you disrupted their whole system. Their whole way of worshiping, their whole way of seeing, but they got to look within themselves. Mm-hmm. He said, and Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. Mm-hmm. He cannot be compassed with walls or enter about with bounds of any kind. And they said, all people worship Allah the one, but all people see him not alike. This universe, Allah, is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune Allah. One see him as Allah of might, another Allah of thought, another as Allah of love. A man ideal is his God, so as man unfold, is God unfold. Man God today, tomorrow is not God. Sound like the Captain of Constancy. Tomorrow is not God. You just go back and forth. Praise Allah. All nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view. That's what I said, because we're talking about the prophet is a universal prophet. He came to all the nations of the earth, all the nations of the world. And so he does not seem the same to everyone. That's what we say, we must respect him. Man being a part of Allah, you see, and this to him is all of Allah. And every nation see a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. So we get caught up. My God is bigger than your God, or this and that, you know what I'm saying? We don't get caught up on that. That's why they probably put us in this manual, because you want to make sure that we stay on course and we don't get caught up in debates, over persons, because everybody has a name for God. Then he broke it down. He said, "You bronze, called in bronze. In Egypt he's Thor, and Zeus is his name in Greece, and Jehovah is his Hebrew name. But everywhere he's the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown." See? So don't get caught up. You don't want to get caught up. When man, and then we go, you see, because the practice that it was doing, it says, you see, when men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garb and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayer. See? Charge them. They dress them up and tell them to charge them. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayer, to buy him off for what? Sacrifice of animals and birds. When men see Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, "My Father God Allah." And then he lays his hand in Allah's own hand, and all is well. And this is Allah. You are each one a priest just for yourself. The sacrifice of blood, Allah does not want. And that was some of the practices. And if you look at it in Psalm 110, he said, "We all priests are the most high order of Melchizedek." See, we all priests and priestesses. You know what I'm saying? We don't, when we talk both. Because we all of us got the prophet said, "All power in heaven and earth is mine. To you I give all power in heaven and earth." That's right. And that's why the prophet said, if you look, you want to find your devil, you must look within. If you want to find your Savior, you must look within. Ooh, come on. When the demon himself has been dethroned, when the demon himself has been dethroned, the Savior love will be exalted to the throne of power. And love we used to teach, he used to tell us all the time, dethrone that devil. That's within you. Because people want to make you think like that person is the devil, that person. Only the devil that man was to redeem himself. It's lower stuff. It's lower stuff. That's why you got to use the tools of the worship of the mind. You got to use them acts to cut away those ungainly parts. You got to use them. The tools of the worship of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. See, that's what we talk. That's what we're doing. We're building up character. And we want to be in line with the character of the prophet. Islam, come on. See, all the ancient forefathers, we want to be in line. That's why the prophet said, go back to the state of what mind of what? Of your forefathers. The ancient forefathers. That's right. See, go back. And then he said, one time he said, let us forget the flesh and go with mind in the line of what? Fleshless things. Mind never does forget. That's right. So that's why we got to go within ourselves. We got to work on ourselves. So we got to use them tools. We got to use them tools. And like Brother Berry-Bey always said, stay in your meds. Stay in your meds. Stay on your meds. Because this is where you get your medication. This is where you get your healing. Yeah. You talking about the manic law? This maniac. Manic depression. Yes, you look at all that. So that's why I said we are the healers. But like I'm saying, we got to make sure that we go back into that priesthood. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Heal the sick and raise the dead. That's what we got to do. And I look at now, people are suffering, but praise Allah, we're being prepared. We are being prepared. Praise Allah. He says, and this is the law, you wait one day preach with just for yourself and sacrifice your blood as often as not born. Just give your life and sacrifice of service to what? To the all of life, and the law is pleased. If man will serve a law, he will serve his near kin, those who are no kin, the stranger at your gate, and the foe seek to do you wrong. Assist the poor and help the weak, and do all to none, and cover that what is not yours. Then with your tongue to hold the one who speak. See? That's what I'm saying. We're tuning up ourselves.
That's right.
You know, that's what I said, from the center to the outer bound of life, we connected. You know, like I said, don't look at our people like, you know, that's why it gave us a chapter on human equality. Well, people going through their thing, man. They're going through, because they do not know themselves. When the light shines in the dark, they comprehend it not. They don't know themselves. So that's why they suffer. They create their own suffering. They create their own pain. You know, and dig this here. You know. Let's give your life and sacrifice and everything, all of life and the Lord's peace. When Jesus has done said, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove amongst themselves. Some say he's inspired by the Holy Ground. Others said he's insane. Others said he's obsessed. He speaks as devil speaks. But Jesus tarried not. Amongst the guests was one, a tiller of the soul, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Jesus spoke, and Jesus went with him a go. Sometimes it might be just for that one person. That might need that medicine right there and there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's what it is. That's why everybody can hear it. You know? They got to be in tune. If they're not in tune, then you know they're not in the core with the divine respectable and prophet. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Yeah, praise Allah for allowing us the opportunity to come together and stay together, sing together, and read and hear the everlasting gospel that saves and power that come from the Lord, showing ancient fathers by his prophet.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. And He gave us these degrees. He gave us these tools. He gave us these instructions to follow. Because he left his footprint clearly cut. All can see and be assured that the master went that way. So you want to follow the master teacher. You want to follow that footprint. You know, that's why he say he gave us a pattern. He got a pattern for the sons of men. You know, so praise the Lord for allowing us to look at, see it, and hear it, and read it, and get some understanding, because understanding you're rocking with man what? Builds himself. Convinces of the art and of the north, the falsehood and of truth. You know, so we got to work with it. You know, we got to work with it. That's why I says, you know, he gave us a small pamphlet because he knew what we need in order to get us back into the God men and the God women like self again. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
At this time, I'd like to call the first speaker even before I bring him forward. Please give me your divine attention. I'd like to call my brother man. My brother man. With a sea called evil. Islam.
How could it be that you love the most unlovable part of me? You made me see the only thing in life we need is purity to be free. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything working for our good for always. Allah saved the day. He sent us through. He won't fail, that's not what superheroes do. No greater love, make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like Drew. It comes to be. The Holy Covenant is how we practice creed. Under our fig tree, we've been redeemed. Thus wisdom, will, and love is universal deed. This is heavenly. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything's working for our good, for our ways. Allah saved the day. He sent us through. He won't fail, that's not what superheroes do. No greater love, make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like, I just wanna love everybody like, I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like. What's the remedy? I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. One more time. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. I just wanna learn to love instead of hate. Islam. Islam.
First, I give my praise to the one who's supreme, most wise and beneficent. To him alone belongs worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. His name is Allah. I would like to give honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America and founder of me. I like to give honors to Brother Marcus Garvey, the forerunner to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as John the Baptist was to Jesus about 2,000 years ago. I like to give honors to both flags, the American flag that embraced us in our infancy, the Moorish flag. The flag was first ever known to man that what flags really meant. Your name, your divine creed, your nationality, your language, it's all in your flag. Your love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is your supreme laws in your flag. I like to give honors to all past supreme grand advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America. His successor, Colonel C. Kirkland Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. Giving honors to our former Grand Chief moderator, Brother Olive Eel. Giving honors to our present Grand Chief, Brother R. Jones Bey, who's doing a tremendous job in these crucial and uncertain times when the forces of darkness appear to be winning. Appear to be.
Come on.
Just reflexes.
That's right. That's right.
Just reflexes because it's false, so it's reflexes because it changes. Truth don't have a reflex. Truth is always one image. And that image made in the likeness of us is Allah. I like to give honors to all prophets. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, Zoroaster, the father of good and evil.
That's right.
Also, I said Buddha, but Buddha is interesting because the book of Gautama is always a good read because our tenets of the principle, which is Muhammad. In the way as people get them confused as though they really different, but they are the same. Because Buddha said it was 9 heavens, you know. So I didn't think about them Buddha and Muhammad and Jesus. And I like to think, because each round I'm taught gets higher and higher. And I hear the sheik, Brother Ferguson-El, you know, when you just say the word Melchizedek, the name, has just a power in it, all in itself. Just something about it when you say Melchizedek. Who's this mysterious person or mysterious force? Like, who is it? But
Praise Allah.
It's always good when I hear the name because you know it's a saving power than what prophet. That's why he said, "Every word I speak is spirit, and more is better heed," because it's a saving power in his words. You know. And I like to give honors to everything about the Moorish science tip of America. The young Moorish nationally, the auxiliary, I mean, the literature, I mean, especially in these days when you see it in this time, in this new era of time now, when they must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live.
That's right.
Wow. And you can see it every day. Court rulings, immigration is a factor. You know, they're doing everything it is to try to stay in charge without facing the nationality for the so-called Negro, colored, and black, and Afro-American. I mean, they make it like it's about our Latino brothers, but it's really about us. Because the prophet said they're going to be saved, we're going to have to be through them, the Moors. So it's coming right back full circle.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? I was telling the sheep the other day, we was talking about, I said, the prophet been talking about climate change. He said, you got to go back to when it is tropical. So the melting could be, because he said, I could tell you something that turn your brains to water. A lot of people take that to be a bad thing. You know? But I give honors, man, to this temple, because it feels like a temple. As soon as I come in there, because I had some things on my mind, and I couldn't just help noticing the spirit of the thing.
Praise the Lord.
Because the places actually feel. Because the prophet said, leave your doors without driving men. He ain't just in public and in private, but that which is visible and invisible. Because the place is here full.
That's
You
right.
know, you don't
That's
even
right.
know it. Because you can feel the spirit of it.
That's
You
right.
know, when I came through the door, it just changed my vibration. Stop it, Khalil.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? The place is full.
Yeah.
You know, stop it. So, cleanse your thoughts.
That's right.
So, as an custom, I like to have a reading from the Moorish Science Temple of America. I like to have a reading from two places. I'm going to read for the sake of the record, by the secretary or that. I'm going to read from page 4, the Divine Instructions, chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. I'm going to do it in a partiality thing because there's so much in here. You can take one word and build on it for years. You know what I mean? You know,
Infinite, boy.
yeah. But he's doing it, because the prophet said, what is the line that's united divinity and matter?
That's right.
You know? So he's saying a few things to us.
That's right.
In this chapter, I'm going to have a reading but I can't do it. Show you how much time it takes just to change your mind into that Moorish rhythm. Bam! So, time never was when man was not. If the life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change ye from a finite point of view. The time will come when there will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and part of Allah.
That's right.
I'm going to stop there and I'm going to have another reading. And I'm going to read from page 3 from the Holy Prophet, Know thyself and thy Father God Allah. And I'm going to read a partiality at near the end paragraph of the first. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at an expense. The reason these lessons were not being known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets, and for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America, all authority and rights in publishing of this pamphlet of 1927. Well, why did you read that, Corey? Because I tell you, I came through the door, and man, I had other things on my mind, and it's concerned to show you how to just change the rhythm. So when I start writing my name, Brother Steve Cole Hill, it just changed the rhythm. Changed. But I also thought about what a lot of Moors, see, because I'm taught everybody can have the same Quran, but you wouldn't know it because of the interpretation of it,
Right.
the way they interpret it.
Right.
You understand? Because they full of laws, they full of principles, guiding principles. There's a whole lot of structure involved with this. But one of the things I've noticed about the prophet, with certain things, he teaches high and low, in and out, you know. So I thought about time. That's why I read that. He said time never was when man was not. But then there was a time when man was. And so even in here he talks about at the appointed time, Allah loosened the keys. So I'm gonna talk about time because it's a lesson that, you know, was pressed upon me to study, you know, because the prophet used the word time throughout all the literature.
That's right.
In the Holy Quran, he used it in the Moorish literature, he used it in the archives of this new era of time now. So it's something about time that plays an important factor in our own development of more scientific of America. Now, the intellectual part of knowing time is, of course, you have to go to the dictionary and get the meaning of time on the Webster, on Merriam, and they find time is a period during which action or process or a condition exists, or a clock that keeps moving around to calculate the seconds, the minutes, and the hours of the day, or the calendar that measure the months, the weeks and the months, all back to the age of time. But also time is a series of reoccurring instances from moment to moment. You see, and this is from the intellectual part, because I'm playing intellectual right now. You know, trying to understand what the prophet is trying to tell me. Because he said, good European, I can use you. So I'm saying, where can you use me at? By me using these terms, prophet. You know, because time seems to be all that's on my mind. Time. And I realized from what the prophet is saying, since he said every word I speak is spirit, time is both a creator and a destroyer. Time is that which is false, shall pass away. Time is that which is true, will survive the ravage of it to prove that it is permanent, it understood and established, that it cannot change. It will not be budged. It can't too. The more scientific cannot change. It cannot, in time. In time, all forms die. However, because of time has its own realm, it contains a beginning and an end. From time. Yet, man and woman struggles to live against the illusion of time. He or she views the marching of their years as an enemy that's conspiring to prevent achievement in time. We place emphasis on the biological clock, the swinging pendulum inside of you that ticks away your life. I'm sorry I didn't do this when I was what's the name? Oh man, I'm just old now. I'm just time is the master, or one of the masters of this thing on the manifest that we call life of matter.
Yes, sir.
See, because we are human spirits having a human spirit experience in one sense within the realm of time. That time also is the door that you must knock right. Some say the word is lost. I'm saying the prophet said not a word is lost.
That's right.
In the Lord's book of remembrance. See, because
That's right. That's right.
you need time to get permission to move out of the matter, the intellectual realm, and move into the abstract realm of spirit consciousness. See, because the prophet talks about the time that word will be no more. He said, before the end of time, all heaven you will bow to Islam. Islam simply means peace. That's why it's predated Christianity and everything else. Because in Islam teaches us that man was born with unlimited
That's right.
capacity for progress.
That's right. That's right.
Defying time.
That's right.
But you need time to develop. But sometimes
That's right.
we are bad managers of our time. We don't manage it properly.
It's true.
We don't use it correctly. Therefore, we can't get the right results. We're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Was a clear case of sanity, because the prophet talks that the wise continue from the first period on, while the fool is always beginning. You see? And all this is in time. Time for you to look at your watch. Time for you to go to college now. It's time for you to do what after college? Sure, you can get a job while you're in college. In time. Time. See, but time is the greatest illusionist to man and woman. See, because inside of the former man, there's no beginning and end. There's something
Come on.
in man and in woman and child that laughs at time.
That's right.
It makes fun of time. And the prophet telling you, man is not the body nor the soul, but a spirit and part of hell. Because in yonder kingdom, this carnal evolution of time is not known.
Woo, come on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You hear me? And you hear me now?
Yeah, it's wrong. It's
See,
wrong.
because we don't look at the time. If we don't view it correctly, we be off.
That's right.
This nigga China's getting ready to go back from a biological, okay? Your mortal chemistry be off a little bit. You still be clinging to the same time you was getting up before. But now you're supposed to get up earlier as opposed to getting up later. But you're still getting up later instead of getting early, but the sun is shining in your face. But time itself, man, is so beautiful if you can look at it in an objective way. You understand? You see, because as I was saying, the prophet talks about growth and development.
Right.
He said, the way to her is labor.
That's right.
Attention is her pilot that will conduct thee into a port. For when thou arrive at her,
That's right.
the
Go ahead.
toil shall be to thee for pleasure. He's showing you how to transcend time. He said the mind of a great prince, right? The mind of a great prince is exalted with the grandeur of his situation. He evolved in high things and searched for business worthy of his power. Transcending time. He even showed death doesn't matter in time. He pushed aside the terrors of death.
That's right.
that's calculated off time. He said, those who are dead shall live, and those who live shall never die in time. Because time cannot constrain it. So, man, these lessons are taking you in a place to try to teach you that time is just a stepping stone to you to become perfected man. Time, without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. Thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. So, time can become your foe, or it can be your friend. Listen to what I'm telling you. It can be your foe, or it can be your friend. Because if you don't develop in time, if you ain't ready, you better get ready. If you are ready, stay ready. All this transcends time. If you ain't ready, get ready. If you are ready, stay ready. Got nothing to do with time once you reach a certain plateau. In belief, perhaps what man think is truth, is in time. Faith is next. What man knows to be the truth in time. Then there's a part that man himself become the truth outside of time. He is now the walking, living gospel. And with that, I'm going to say Islam.
Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel it in my bones. Oh, I feel it in my bones. Oh, I feel it in my bones. Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel it in my bones. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up, oh, in my bones, in my bones. With the nearest place we meet him, we meet him all in our hearts. Oh, we meet him all in our hearts. Oh, we meet him all in our hearts. There's the nearest place we meet him, we meet him all in our hearts. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up in my bones, in my bones. Noble to Ali, he's the prophet of Allah. He's the prophet of Allah. He's the prophet of Allah. Who is noble to Ali? He's the prophet of Allah. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up in my bones, in my bones. Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah and honor to the Prophet Noble to Ali for breathing at that brother man. Through his divine instruction. I was going to say, open up the windows of your heart. Here you get a lesson about time. And the Prophet started out with time never was and man was not. You know, so you understand it. That's what it says. Everything we see, but reflex is just opinion whether each is what? Vibrates so and so. You know, and we're an illusion. You know, everything we see with this carnal eyes, these eyes, these mortal eyes, got limitations, beginning and ending. So praise Allah. I'd like to thank Brother C. Korea for reading from the Divine Instruction of the Holy Prophet, chapter 1, Creation and Fall of Man, and Know Thyself and Thy Father God Allah. Talking about the secret lesson for the first time in ages. They've been delivered back in the hands of the age after man. And our forefathers are the first to receive the religious creed with the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. You know, our forefathers are the first. So we still got that charge. We still got that charge. You know, understanding the things that we see, the things that we don't see, but they go together. So I'd like to thank you for his reading and also his comment. At this time, I'd like to call the next speaker to the evening. Before I bring her forth, please give your undivided attention. I'd like to call our Sheikah, Sister L. Berry-Bey, who is the assistant chairman and also the secretary. After the song.
What's your nationality? It is Moorish American. Same as noble Jualis. Same as noble Jualis. What's your nationality?
It is Moorish American.
Same as noble Jualis.
Same as
noble Jualis. Feel like fire stirred up. Fire stirred up. Fire stirred up in my bones, in my bones. When you meet a group of Moors, raise your right hand, say Islam.
Raise your right hand, say Islam.
Raise your right hand, say Islam. When you meet a group of Moors,
Raise your right hand, say Islam.
feels like fire stirred up. Fire stirred up. Fire stirred up in my bones, in my bones. Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel it in my bones. Oh, I feel it in my bones. Oh, I feel it in my bones. Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel it in my bones. Feels like fire stirred up. Fire stirred up. Fire stirred up in my bones, in my bones.
Islam,
Islam.
happy holy day.
Happy Holy Day.
First, I'd like to ask for a moment of silent meditation to raise our thoughts, words, and deeds to infinite wisdom. Islam,
Islam.
Islam,
Islam.
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 First, I rise and give praises to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible, who is the causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things have grown, to the one who's supreme, most wise, and beneficent. To him alone belongs worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise, who stretched across the heavens with his hands, who described with his finger the courses of the stars, who set it bounds to the ocean.
That's right.
That cannot, who saith unto the stormy winds, be still.
That's right.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
See, that's what man tries to do for man. We don't fix anyone. We don't teach anyone. We only give them examples. We leave our footprints clearly cut. Prophet Noble Joe Ali said, I must go this way. I'm set up to go this way. So you must go the same way.
They are behind me.
You cannot think that we can change man. Man don't change man. Man sets a pattern for his life to show the example, like Prophet Noble Joe Ali was prepared and gave you a pattern for your life and showed you what way to go. But your sisters and brothers gonna always challenge you because you have these divine lessons. You gonna step up and say, well, I got to deliver this message. But sometimes you can't tell your brothers and sisters nothing. You just gotta be the example. You gotta be what you know. And when you are what you know, no one can challenge it. How many times you hear our brothers and our elders say, keep the prophet out in front? You keep the prophet out in front. The only way you can do that is if you are making your meetings and you're studying. Because the prophet said, if you ask me what you shall study, I will say yourself. And then if you shall ask me again what to study, I will reply yourself. He repeated himself. The prophet went around his elbow to get to his thumb.
Yeah, I tried that.
And you can't. Not on this plane to manifest. You spoke about time, dear brother. Time never was when man was not.
That's it. That's the answer to it.
That's the answer. So when we understand that the billows that roll, you know how you say, this way shall our billows roll. We can't roll nobody else's billows. We can't tell them not to raise their fury. We can only show them by not raising our fury. We have to plant the seed, prepare the ground so that the corn can be planted.
That's right. The ground must be prepared before
The potter must build his furnace before he can make his porcelain.
Must, that's right.
The child must crawl before he walks.
Sheesh.
So, in saying that, just remember that just like Elizabeth and Mary was in those sacred roles, continue to stay in your sacred roles. My husband called it our medication. I like to call it the navigator. Where I pull out forms. I put formulas together and go, let me see how this worked for me. The sister asked me today, she was asking me some questions, and she said, the sister I was speaking to, she goes, you know, I realize a person can say they love me, but they only say it when they think I'm going this way. I'm not putting up with it no more. I said, you setting boundaries. You're raising your standards. See, our brothers and sisters don't raise their standards.
That's right.
And if we don't raise our standards, you can't see what's great. You're going to always be low. So the sister said, you know, well, what can I do to help my friend? I said, you can't. You can only show them the way. Because our words fall on deaf ears sometimes. They don't want to, it ain't that they don't want to hear you. They ain't ready to hear you. You don't have courage enough for truth. The prophet said you have to have courage enough for truth. So whenever you speak to your brother and you want to tell them the truth, say, are you ready for this truth? Or are we both ready to have courage? Because even when you give some advice,
Better be ready.
you better be ready for the fight. So the courage is not just for the brother man that you share this beautiful divine lessons with. It's for you. Because it's going to be a response. And we can't take the response.
Many times.
So in helping your brothers and sisters, remember that, you know, we have to have patience. The prophet said the public is unstable and unready.
That's right. That's the lesson. That's the lesson.
So I wanted to take a read from chapter 12. In taking this read, I want to continue my honors. Give honors to Prophet Noble Ali, the last prophet of these days, the founder of the Moorish Temple of America, 1913 AD, savior of humanity, who said have a deeper appreciation for womanhood. I want to give honors to all I want to give honors to all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honors to our forerunner, Marcus Messiah Garvey, who paved the way, who said progress is the attraction that moves humanity. But in progress, it's a process. Let him process it.
That's right.
The prophet said, I can count on one hand how many more is going to make it and still have things left over. I give honors to all Supreme Grand Advisors and Moderators of the Moorish Temple of America in concession, Brother C. Kirkman-Bey, Brother F. Nelson-Bey, and Brother J. Blakely-Bey. I give honors to the past past Grand Advisor and Moderator, Brother R. Field. May Allah be pleased. I give honors to the present Grand Sheikh and Moderator, Brother R. Jones-Bey, and his assistant, Brother P. Chase-El. I give honors to the Grand National Chairman, Sister S. Russell Dunbar-Bey, and her assistant, Brother V. Bell-Bey. I give honors to the Grand Governor of the State of New York, Brother C. Hurst-Bey, and his assistant, Brother K. Richardson-El. I give honors to our Grand Sheikh in Temple number 34, Brother Y. Cyrus-El, and his assistant, Brother W. Clinton-Bey. I give honors to our Chairman, who's also the Grand Governor of the State of Connecticut, who we love to hear say, praise Allah, praise Allah, praise Allah, Brother C. Ferguson-El. I give honors to all the staff and officials, past, present, and future, national, state, and local. I give honors to our two flags, the American flag and the Moorish flag, which represents the 5 highest principles known to man: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give honors to the Charter, with its great 10 mysteries of the world. It gives us the right to teach and practice Islamism in America without molestation.
That's right.
We are chartered to be here. I give honors to all the literature and the remedies that the prophet has brought for uplifting fallen humanity. I give honors to each and every one of you. I give honors to man, because when man honors man, he honors his father, God Allah. I'm going to take a read from the Holy Quran, the Moorish Sciences of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Ali, by the guidance of his father, God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life of his father, God Allah. I'm going to go into chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. And of course, I'll start with the very first instruction. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. And I'm going to jump over to the minor on instruction 15 on page 20. One day a miner who could see beneath the soil, who passing on his way, saw this poor man in this unfruitful field. He called the worried toilers and said, "My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in a scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you dig away the rocky soil and delve down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught." Now, what makes this instruction right here is so, it pops out to me because I have children, and when you have children, you are dealing with many different spirits and characters. And my husband always speaks about there only being four characters. I think he said 3 or 4 characters. And what we have to understand is, when we watch our sisters and brothers, you will see their change in how they progress. And we might not agree with how slow or fast they may go, but let them be what they're going to be. And as I say this as a parent, because sometimes you struggle because you don't want to see your children fail.
That's right.
You don't want to see your sisters and brothers fail. But at the same time, I know that they have to delve down deep. I can't do it for you. The prophet said, if my mother ain't right, my mother won't get it. So I just can tell them by being an example. The man believes, the miner surely knows, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth he found a mine of gold, a source of wealth. That's what I look at it as. And Jesus said, the sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming that they can do aught else. Behold, a master comes and tells them of a hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil and carnal things are treasures that no man can count, that in the heart of the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we may find the wealth that lies within the heart. And Jesus opened up the way and toiled, and the toilers saw another side of life, and toilers became a joy. I want to thank our grand governor, Ferguson-El, the chairman, for calling on me. And I want to extend another happy holy day, and remember to always create some formulas for yourself, leave an example for your sisters and brothers. If they may go that way, it's no promises you can make to anyone. But don't burden yourself. Never do that. Because there's no felling for the human soul.
So don't burden my mom.
He said, without a full soldier never knows his strength. So we understand that they have to build themselves up. Let them get their strength. Because you got your superhero powers now. Let them gain it. They have to earn it, though. But there's no failure for the human soul. Just always remember that. And with that, I extend another peace.
Do you been here before?
Oh, been here before. You said I've been here before.
Been here before.
Been here before.
Been here before.
Don't wanna come back here no more.
Don't wanna come back here no more.
I'll loosen the key.
I'll loosen the key.
Send us through Ali.
Send us Drew Ali
To set us free.
to set us free
From into slavery.
from mental slavery.
He came for you.
He came for you.
He came for me.
He came for me.
1 foot on the land.
1 foot on the land.
1 on the sea.
1 on the sea.
Do you believe?
Do you believe?
Can you conceive?
Can you conceive
A prophet of
a prophet of
humanity.
humanity?
Do you believe?
Do you believe?
Can you conceive
Can you conceive
the end of time?
the end of time?
Fulfilling all prophecy.
Fulfilling all prophecies.
Been here before.
Been here before.
He said I've been here before.
I said I've been here before.
The time that was
The time that was
would be no more.
would be no more.
You best believe
You best believe
in Drew Ali.
in Drew Ali.
You best believe
You best believe
in Drew Ali.
in Drew Ali.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah. And honor to his most illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing these divine instructions from our forefathers by his prophet. Praise Allah. I'd like to thank the Sheikh Sister El Berry-Bey for reading from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet. Praise Allah. Chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people of their spring, tell them how to obtain eternal happiness. We read verse 1 and then from 15 to the end. So praise Allah for allowing her to use her tongue to share that message to each and every one of us. Hopefully we got something out of it. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
At this time, I'd like to call the next speaker here before I bring it forward. Please give your undivided attention. I'd like to call the Sheikh, Brother Berry-Bey.
Wait in the water bosom. Wait in the water bosom. Wait away in the water bosom. Jewelry done trouble the water.
Oh, that yonder all dressed in red.
Jewelry done trouble the water.
It must be the mountain that you are leaving.
Jewelry done trouble the water.
Wait
in the water bosom. Wait in the water bosom. Wait in the water bosom. Jewelry done trouble the water.
Oh, that yonder all dressed in green.
Jewelry done trouble the water.
It must be the mountain that you are leaving.
Jewelry done trouble the water. Say it. Way in the water bosom. Way in the water bosom. Way in the water bosom. Jewelry done trouble the water.
Oh, that yonder all dressed in white.
Juali done troubled the waters.
It looks like the host of the Moabite.
Juali done troubled the waters.
Sing it.
Way in the water bosom. Way in the water bosom. Way in the water bosom. Juali done troubled the waters. Juali done troubled the waters. Troubled the waters.
Islam.
Islam.
First, I rise in thought to give praise to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, the almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. I give high honors to his illustrious prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said to know thyself and Allah. Jesus said, believe me that I am in my Father and my Father in me. Prophet Muhammad said, kindness is the mark of faith. So whosoever has not kindness has not faith. Buddha said, man is his own master. Jesus said, man is the breath made flesh. Confucius said, when I hear, I forget. When I see, I remember. When I do, I understand. Jesus said, understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. So we honor all the true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. I give honor to the harbinger, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said progress is the attraction that moves humanity. Brother Marcus Garvey said to never forget that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden.
That's right.
I give honor to all past, supreme, grand advisors, and moderators, Brother C. Kirkman Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, Brother J. Blakely Bay. I give honor to the former Grand Sheik, Brother R. Laville. May Allah be pleased with him. I give honor to the present Grand Sheik, Brother R. Jones Bay. I give honor to all national, state, local officials. I give honor to our Grand Sheik. I give honor to the Grand Governor of the State of New York, Brother C. Herb Bay, and his assistant, Brother K. Ferguson-El. I give honor to our Grand Sheik, our brother man, Brother Y. Sirius-El. I give honor to his assistant, W. Clinton and Bay. I give honor to the chairman, Brother C. Ferguson-El, who's also the Grand Governor of the State of Connecticut, who I love to hear say, praise Allah, praise Allah, praise Allah. I give honor to his assistant, Sister L. Berry-Bey. I give honor to the two flags, the American flag and the Moorish flag. I give honor to the charter, Sister L. Berry-Bey, which he was talking about. On our charter, the prophet said, to whom these presents may come.
That's right.
The prophet said, to whom these presents may come. What presents? The gifts. The gifts of the understanding is not going to come to everybody because they're not open for it. It's for them. Brother Cole always say, the Moorish Science Temple of America is for everybody, but everybody is not for the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I love that demonstration you did on time because I always talk to my wife about time. You know, the prophet is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1913 AD. But in the proclamation, he's the founder of the everlasting movement. There's two things happening here, and I always tell my wife that some people joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, but they didn't return to the everlasting movement.
That's right. Come on, come on, come on.
So we have a lot of, I've been around a long time, Moors. Time. That illusion of time. I've been around, Lord, you just got here, I've been around. Who just got here?
That's right. Come on.
So now we're measuring time by the Gregorian calendar when we want to stick puff up our, we're going to be puffed up in our own seat.
That's right.
We're going to talk about how long we've been around. All these are ancient spirits we talk.
That's right. Come on.
We've been around longer than who? When time never was, when man was not. So don't give me the lesson, the finite lesson on how long you've been around. You understand? That's a finite demonstration. And the falsehood in it is you've been around a long time, but have you been committed to the great program?
Is it in
That's
you?
the difference. You've been in the temple, but it's the temple in you.
Come on.
That's right.
See, that's the lesson that our brothers and sisters are using against our sisters that come into the temple like her. You just got here. I've been around. She didn't just get here. Time never was she was ancestral return.
That's right. That's right. That's
You don't know
right.
what she bringing to you.
That's
You
right.
don't know what she have to offer.
That's right.
Because you stuck in time talking about how long you've been around.
That's right.
There's some saving power in that.
That's right.
So what you been around a long time?
Come on.
That's right.
This is a divine and national.
That's right.
You don't know who these spirits are walking through the door.
That's right.
You give honors to all these spirits equally.
That's right.
You understand? And Temple 34 is a real progressive temple. So we got a lot of what I call hecklers. You know, I'm a basketball head, so when I watch TV, I hear a lot of, how you got that fan in the second row yelling at LeBron James, LeBron, you a bum. But a man in his hand, or yelling at Kawhi Leonard, you garbage. But if you take that same heckler and you put him in the gym with LeBron James, LeBron James will drop 50, 60 points on him. Because see, it's the difference between heckling and then being in the game. So you got Moors on social media heckling. Talking about what this one and that one is not doing.
Pretending
You know what I'm saying? You're a heckler. You just like the man in the second row holding on the bed. Heckling superior talent. You understand? But if you put on your gym shoes and your shorts and shirt and get out there, you'll see who LeBron James is. If you come into the temple on a Friday night, you'll see what the Grand Chief, Berry-Bey, Ferguson-El, you'll see what we teach.
Islam.
I bet you won't do that.
Islam.
You see, so that you got the hecklers. These hecklers, you're not being on social media and being in the temple is two different things. Being in the second row of a game and being out there on the court is two different things. We have to know the difference. We want to be, the prophet teaches us that Moors are active and not passive.
That's right.
So you don't want to be the one that your doing is talking about what somebody else not doing. That's your doing? That's your demonstration talking about what this one and that one is not doing. But you in here not doing the doing. How that work? You understand? You got to represent the prophet's organization from the prophet's organization. The prophet is not the founder of Facebook. He's not the founder of Twitter. He's not the founder of Instagram. He's the founder of the Moorish Temple of America.
Period.
So if you want to represent this, get in his organization and represent it.
Period.
You understand? So, Moorish Temple 34, we got a lot of hecklers because we're a progressive temple. And a lot of people are unfortunately intimidated by us. I like to speak to those things because, everybody is not at that level of growth and development where they can see through naysayers.
Right.
So sometimes you have to expose the naysayer. You have to pull the curtains from behind and show that he's the Richard Pryor in the Wizard of Oz. Just talking. Just talking. You're exposing. You're the Wizard of Oz. Scaring and spooking the people. So we have to be demonstrators of that because the prophet, he advised us. He said, look, I'm sending out a divine plea. But all Moorish Americans protect our prophet in the temple. He said, these are trying hours now, dear Moors. And every evil spirit is moving and trying every weak mind. Trying to overthrow and drag out the true foundation. And trying to confuse those who do believe. So we have to have an eye for those evil spirits. Because the prophet warned us about those evil spirits. Because remember, the prophet said, those who was with me 2,000 years ago is with me now. Those who was against me is against me today. So a lot of the prophet's enemies come through the doors. A lot of the prophet's enemies are members of his organization. That's why he did two things. He founded the Moorish Temple of America in 1913 AD, but he also founded the Everlasting Movement. They can't get into the movement. They're not welcome there. He allowed them to come in here. He's not going to deny it. Come in here and take out a nationality card and, be standing in the temple for 12 years and say, I've been around for 12 years. Prophets see you. You ain't never commit yourself to the great program, though. You just been around. And it shows in your demonstration. Because when you follow the prophet to a destiny that is not uncertain or not known, it shows.
It shows. That's
you can tell the difference in the Moors. He said, my good Moors, they high up on a pinnacle.
Come on.
You understand? You can tell the difference in the Moors that studying and committed to the great program from the Moors that just, I've been around.
That's right.
I've been around Moors. And they think that prophet said in Acts 7, he said, all members must promptly attend their meetings and be a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Temple. All members must pay their dues and keep the lines with all necessities of the Moorish Temple. And then you are entitled to the name of faithful.
Come on.
Being around only entitled you to the name of faithful.
Islam.
That's not what the prophet. We got to follow what the prophet said. He's told you who's who. If you're not in Acts 7, then you ain't with the prophet. You're just talking. I've been around. Me and my wife did that all the time. You don't know, Y'all just got here.
Just got here.
Who man just got here? You know how long I've been in this temple right here? This temple?
Ooh, come on.
I've been fell into Asia. I fell into Asia before you. That shelter Adidas older than you.
Ooh, come on.
You telling me that I just got here? Just got there. I fell into Asia 49 years ago. I fell into Asia. I'm here. These are spirits. You fell into Asia. We all fell into Asia. You can't talk about how long somebody I've been around.
That's deep.
This is the physical temple that the prophet set up for us to navigate, to proclaim our nationality, and better, like you said, if you have race pride, join the Moorish Temple of America, then you can better, defend your race.
That's right.
But they taking the temple and they turn it into their own boys club.
Right.
And that's not what this is for. That's not what it's about. So when you hear that language, I've been around long, you know what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with the farmer.
That's right.
See, man believeth, but the mind surely knows.
That's right.
That's why the prophet set up two things. He wanted to separate his good Moors from his faithful Moors from his unfaithful Moors. That's what he set the temple up for. You can see the unfaithful Moors. They stuck in the temple. They keep talking about how long they've been around. I've been doing this for how long, and this and that. What that is, there's no saving power in that. Where do your footprints lead you from and to?
That's right.
I want to say, I don't care how long you've been here, I want to see your footprints.
That's right.
That's what I want. You measure a man by his footprints. That's what the prophets, the masters tell you.
Come on.
He said, you may never tell the multitude to do what you have never done.
That's
But you must go forth and show the way.
That's right.
The prophet he gave us
Teach.
everything we need. You have to be what you know. I want to take a read from the Holy Quran, the Moorish Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Ali, by the guiding of his father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God, Allah. When we open this Quran, you enter into a mystery school. Know thyself in Allah. You enter into a mystery school. This is nothing to be played with, what the prophet said, but you're only going to know that if you commit yourself. The more you commit yourself, the more the prophet will share with you. Allah share with you. If you don't commit yourself, then you're gonna be running around talking about how long you've been around. You see, there's no saving power in that. It sounds good to some people who don't understand the movement. That sounds good, like, ooh, he's been around. There's no saving power in that. But I'm gonna take a read from chapter 26, found on page 36. 26, Holy Instructions of Unity. 26. Holy Instructions of Unity. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion, and what measure seemeth good unto himself. Now I would try to say to whom these presents may come, because the prophet knew that it's not going to come to everybody. That's why he said to whom these presents may come. Right. Because the prophet understood that everybody is not open to this. And a lot of us, these spirits wasn't for this 2,000 years ago, and that's not for it now. But that's okay, because it's a place for everybody.
That's right.
Have He endowed thee with wisdom? Have He enlightened our mind with the knowledge of truth? Communicated to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicated to the wise for thy own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changes his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. I like the demonstration the bald eagle does with his chicks. The bald eagle, he takes when his chicks, when he feel they old enough, when she feel that they old enough to fly, she put them on her back, and she take them way up into the stratosphere. And then she drop them and let them just fall all over the place to try to find their way and fly. One or two may get it, and maybe one that don't get it. So she got to swoop down and go catch them. And then take them back up and do it until you get it. That's how we have to do our brothers and sisters. We show them the way.
Right.
Because,
That's right.
Nobody can really teach you anything.
That's right.
You are your teacher. Because when you accept the information, then you taught yourself.
That's right.
We can only just be the example. At the end of the day, you have to open up the windows of your heart and let it in. And some people's hearts is sealed. Unfortunately, their hearts are sealed because they're not moving in sincerity. So that even the animals, even wildlife knows how you have to set the next generation up. You can't hold these adults' hands.
That's right.
You have to just be the example and show them. Either they're going to get it or they're not. Either way, it's a blessing. It's their choice.
That's right.
Allah gave us a choice.
That's right.
True wisdom is that the pride of emptiness is an abomination is to talk, much as the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. See, when your brothers and sisters start talking about how long they've been around, that's them boasting about their superior understanding. That's a nice way of telling you, I know more than you. That's all that's telling you. And that's not true. Because we all have something. This is a synergism. This is an exchange. We all have something to offer each other.
That's right. That's right.
So when you've been here for all them years, and I've been wherever I came from all of you, you think I ain't learned nothing? You think I don't have nothing to offer? We all have something to offer each other.
Come on.
That's how that goes. It's an exchange. It's a synergism. It's a, fair exchange has never been no crime. It's a fair exchange here, and that's how that works. So. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man feeleth his imperfection and is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls. With the applause of his brethren delighteth in himself. He boasteth of attainments and things that are of no worth. But where I've been around a long time. Things that are of no worth. But where it is shame to be ignorant, there he have no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly. And shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he counteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. With that, Lord, I extend another happy holy day. Thank the great God for calling on me more. And with that, I say peace.
Sometimes I'm not there when I'm sitting in the room and I'm right next to you. Even though I'm not here, I got the weight of the world on my shoulders, thinking about the way that it cares, knowing I'ma get back to the solid foundations on my square. Come on, boys, say it now. All is well, and I know that my soul can't fail, and it's on my mind. When things are made of thought, when we build up our characters and purify the heart in the workshop of the mind. When things are made of thought, when we build up our characters and purify the heart in the workshop of the mind. Sometimes I will, but my will is the thing I want. The same one saying do it is the same one saying don't. 1 minute I am a God, then the next below a word. My reward is with my Creator for all the things that I have earned, and it's on my mind. When things are made of thought, when we build up our character and purify the heart in the workshop of the mind. When things are made of thought, when we build up our character and purify the heart in the workshop of the mind. I got a hammer I swing and it brings out the truth I sing. So get out the way unless you wanna be a part of every part. Cause when I swing with the knives, it cuts the useless and ungainly parts away. and I still ain't there. I gotta measure all these lines and check the corners of my conduct to be square, and I still ain't there. But I'm aware that I'm a spirit in a garb of soul, and a soul in a garb of flesh, and I'm standing in a place where I can solve my problems best, and it's on my mind, where things are made of thought, where we build up our character and purify the heart, in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought, where we build up our character and purify the heart, in the workshop of the mind. Peace.
Peace.
Praise our Lord.
Islam.
Islam.
I'd like to thank Brother T. Berry-Bey for reading from the Divine Instruction from the Holy Prophet, chapter 26, Holy Instructions of Unity. Praise Allah for this reading, and all for sharing, and all for unfolding, you know what I'm saying, you know, the truth about this divine and national movement.
Come on.
You know, like I said, everybody cannot go with the divine movement, because I'm saying you can't go up that way, think a certain way, looking at things life a certain way. You got to raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom to see omnipotence displayed before thee. You got to raise your thoughts. You know, and that's very important. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah for the brother's message. At this time, I'd like to call the last speaker, even before I bring him forward. Please give me your divine attention. I'd like to call the Grand Sheikh of Tebet number 24, Brother Y. Sirius-El, after this song.
The prophet's calling.
You can't hide
The prophet's calling.
You can't hide what the prophet's calling. You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
The truth done come.
You can't hide.
The truth done come.
You can't hide.
Oh, the truth done come.
You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
It's judgment day.
You can't hide.
It's judgment day.
You can't hide. Oh, the judgment day. You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
Turn your lights down low.
You can't hide.
Turn your lights down low.
You can't hide.
Turn your lights down low.
You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
You can run to the rocks.
You can't hide.
You can run to the rocks.
You can't hide.
And when the rocks cry out,
You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
the prophet's calling.
You can't hide.
The prophet's calling.
You can't hide.
Oh, the prophet's calling.
You can't hide. You can't hide my sin. You can't hide.
Islam.
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 First I rise and I give praise to the great God Allah, the Father of the universe, the author, the creator, and the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The Son is not Allah, although his noblest image. He enlighteneth the world with his brightness, his warmth, giveth life to the products of the earth.
That's right.
Admire him as the creature, the instrument of Allah. Worship him not.
That's right.
The one who is supreme, most wise, and beneficent. To him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
The Quran says, "Oh, praise Allah with songs of thanksgiving,
That's right.
and meditate in silence on the wonders of his love. Let thy heart overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. Let the language of thy lips speak praise and adoration. And let the actions of thy life show thy love to his law."
That's right.
The Quran says the law is just and righteous. He will judge the earth with equity and truth. Hath he established his laws in goodness and mercy? And shall he not punish the transgressors thereof? So think not, bold men, because thy punishment is delayed, that the arm of Allah is weakened. Neither flatter thyself with the hopes that he winketh at thy goings.
That's right.
His eye pierceth the secrets of every heart,
That's right.
and he remembereth them forever.
That's right.
He respecteth not the persons or the stations of men, the high and the low, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ignorant.
That's right.
When the soul hath shaken off the cumbrous shackles of this mortal life, shall equally receive from the sentence of just and everlasting retribution,
According to what?
according to their works.
That's right.
Praise
Come on.
Praise
It's
Allah.
long.
Praise
Allah.
Allah.
Works.
You know, I'm always talking about the footprints.
It's long.
You know, when we leave, you know, our thoughts, right? We leave those decisions, we leave the tracks of each of the decisions that we made. And every decision is a battle that was fought. You got war and you got battles. That many battles make up wars, and your track record is the war, and every one of your decisions is made up of little battles between your own thoughts. You know, your higher self battling with your lower self, trying to take control, and we leave footprints, and they're the evidence of what we were able to do, the strength we were able to muster. I say, praise Allah, give high honors to the last prophet in these days, Prophet Noble Jew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, I say, praise Allah for giving us the prophet. I always say, you know, for giving us the opportunity that we could even have a chance to save ourselves from this mess. I'm going to take a reading from the prophet's literature, the Moorish literature, A Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. This comes from page 6. It says, the word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored alludes to anything that has been painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honor thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened on this earth. That's the part of the Constitution that we didn't get. The prophet had to show us. Saying,
That's
look,
right.
you know, you got your zipper down.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You're not being, you can't add to the apply to the Constitution of the United States of America because you out of law already. You out of the law of the 10 Commandments. It says honor your father and your mother. If you honor your fathers and your mothers, you gotta know your history. You gotta know your decent flag of your father. You need to know your free national name, your decent name. These names have ever been recognized. These names have never been recognized. The name Negro, colored, or black. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. That's a whole civics class. You know, stick around so you can learn. You know, what does the prophet mean? He said it's in plain terms. He said at that time, in 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. Prophet said that was a trap. It was a trick. We're citizens under the preamble of the United States of America, not under the any granted privilege. We're not counted as 3/5 citizens in Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States of America. We are the we, and the people of the United States of America. You know, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, right? Ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare.
That's right.
And ensure the blessings of freedom for ourselves and our posterity do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. We're citizens of the preamble of the United States. You know, but when we don't listen, when the prophet said we're not Negro, black, and colored, and our people are still clinging to the names that allude to slavery, you know, we being hard-headed. The prophet talked about that as well. Brother Cole-El, talked about how the prophet saw all of this. Right now we have a scenario. We got a serious situation with the. We knew the economy was in trouble. We are in a full-blown collapse, economic collapse. They said yesterday's fall was the greatest collapse. Was the largest loss in history, American history. And they said the current collapse puts us on par with 1928, right before we went into the Great Depression. The stock market is falling. It's falling because of this coronavirus scare. The coronavirus scare is shutting down the wheels of industry. The prophet said the wheels of industry are going to come to a standstill. When it comes back, it's going to be in the Asiatics' hands. And because all sales are getting thrown off, because China didn't open up after Chinese New Year's, it's affecting the stock market. And Trump making crazy statements that everything is okay and it's in the United States now, is really making the stock market nervous. But the prophet mentioned it. The prophet said in the same article, couple paragraphs over, the prophet said, so there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But, the prophet said, if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and by my people in this government, and they haven't been carried out, the prophet said the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land in order to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. Prophet said, if we didn't get right, this is what was going to come on the land. That's how when Brother Cole talked about the temperature change, he said when the European leaves, it's going to go back the way it was before. The fruit was so big, you had to carry, 2 men had to carry one group of grapes. And the bananas were coming large, everything was large, it was warm, it was tropical in the United States when the European wasn't here. Wow. And he said when the European leaves, it's going to go back to normal. Wow. He said the European was going to have to take on water. But he said if the principle not carried out, we can blame other people. That's what I want to get into today. I was reading chapter 3. We can try to blame other people, but the prophet is talking about, he said us. The Negro problem is your problem. That's right. He said it's sin of my people. The prophet set this up in a certain way so that we were not supposed to blame anyone for this for the state that we're in. So I say praise Allah. I want to continue honors. I give honors to all of the divine prophets. I give high honors to the forerunner to the prophet, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I give high honors to the charter of the Moorish Science Temple of America and to the flags. I give high honors to all of the national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honors to everyone and everything that our chairman gave honors to. With the time that we have, Moors, I would like to go into chapter 3 of the Holy Quran and Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful fallen state of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. If you look, and I'm invoking some of what Brother Cole-El was saying, talking about that ladder of salvation with its 3 steps, line uniting divinity and matter. The heart of man to the heart of Allah. And the inside cover says, know thyself in Allah. Period. Like Sister Berry-Bey used to say. Period. Like Brother Berry-Bey says, sometimes we make it too complicated. It's very simple. That's it right there. That's the whole shit. Know thyself in Allah. That's right. We are the pride of Allah's creation. Allah is close to us in our jugular vein. That's right. Chapter number 3 deals with the higher self and the lower self. And I want to just we read several different parts to zoom in. I say if you've never read chapter 3 before, know that it's the chapter that gives you an anatomical breakdown of the higher self and the lower self. Notice, For those that are aware, notice that it starts off talking about the individual, higher self and lower self, and then it gets into what happens when the lower self or the higher self multiplies, right? There's multiple, people that are in the higher low. I want to zoom in on a particular section, and I want to make just 2 points about the stages that we need to be aware of. If recognizing the higher self and the lower self in you is very important, realizing that there's a battle that we have to strive, right? The brother also said, in chapter 7, it says, man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined in him. And then they strive. But naught goes down, and man is truth abides. This is the great fight. This is the fight that's in every one of your footprints, whether you won or you lost that fight. So you should know this is giving you the chapter, giving you the anatomy of the fight. I want to zoom down into the part we didn't go over last week. I'm going to read from instructions 14 through 20 kind of slowly. If you read instruction number 14, this is on page 7. Again, the chapter is entitled Elihu's Lessons, the Unity of Life. Instruction 14 says, if you would ask me what to study, and this was echoing in the temple tonight. A couple of the more said. Ferguson-El mentioned it, Brother Cole-El echoed it. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves, and you well have studied them. Then would ask me what to study next, I would reply, yourselves, study again. It's almost like pay attention in a fight. Keep your head up, keep your guard up, be ready, get your feet right. The prophet said, if you're not ready, stay ready. Get ready. If you're already, stay ready. And that verse, if you would ask me what to study, you must study yourself. That's real deep. That actually is in one way also at the heart of the mission. The mission starts with self. You can't help nobody outside of yourself. Sister Berry-Bey said, you can't change nobody outside of yourself until you change yourself. This is the way it works. That's right. You trying to help people, and they looking at you like you need help. They like, yo, this person's a fool. Trying to help me, and I'm doing better than you. That's right. You're not even being real with yourself.
That's right. Come on.
Which is the first degree. First degree is sincerity.
That's right. Come on.
Sincerity.
That's right. That's right. Chief.
You cannot, Brother Cole-El, can you study yourself and study yourself again if you're insincere? You cannot do it.
You can't get objective.
That's it. You can't, if the person who is unable to take an honest look at themselves in the mirror is an interesting individual. The insincere individual.
That's right.
We were going over a couple of months ago about sincerity. Sincerity as a principle is one of those deep ones. You open it up and you take a look and you say, what's going on in the mind of the person who can't be sincere? And when you open up and you look at them, they are liars. They're lying to themselves. They're not even trying. And when somebody's not trying and not able to be sincere, they're actually a danger. Depending on the level of the insincerity, there's always danger behind insincerity. Insincerity equals, it's the opposite of truth. When somebody lies, there's always danger behind it. Brother Berry-Bey always mentions very wisely about people on their meds. The person that needs to take medication versus the person who said, I don't need no medication. You got certain medication, you can take a pill to get your weight under control. You know what I mean? But you can also just get your weight under control. Control your appetite, control yourself, right? You should have enough strength to say, you know what? I'm not going to eat that. I can't be eating that. I can't do these. I can't do any of these addictions, But when you don't have the strength, you got to take the medication. Blood pressure medication. It's like you have no self-control. You don't know how to control your own anger. And now you got to take a medication in order to control your anger, control your blood pressure. It's kind of backwards. You can't control your thoughts, so you need chemicals to control your thoughts for you. That's the insincere. That's the result of the insincere person who doesn't realize in all the world there's only two things. One is truth and the other is falsehood. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can see the falsehood in yourself. You can say, you know what? I got to take responsibility. That's like the next degree. I'm gonna read instruction number 15. Talks about I want to talk about taking responsibility. It says, he who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that pass away. And he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. So after you take the first step and you say, all right, let me just take a look in the mirror and see if I'm doing this, is it me or is it not? You know, when you realize, okay, I got certain things about myself that I need to work on. I see that, you know, for me, example, I always say, I have a lot of different things. Jesus said, by many cords, I'm bound down to carnal life.
That's right.
You know, Brother Cyrus said, you all too nice sometimes. You know, you got a lot of different things, but people always told me, brother, you too nice sometimes. And then I go from being too nice, and then I'm flipping out. But you got to learn how to be a little bit more stern, you know. But for me, it's difficult. The reality is, if I like someone, if it's somebody that I admire, if it's somebody that I look up to, you know, I respect, it's very difficult for me to not just be. I have a hard time telling people no that I have love for. It's hard for me because it just feels, I don't know, it's awkward, but it's a weakness that I have. I have to work on.
That's right.
You know, once I don't like somebody, then it's easy. I can be blunt, I can be rude, I can be the nastiest person ever. But, you know, that's one of my flaws. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you see your flaws, are you able to take responsibility and say, this is not the next person's fault? That's the person that takes it mad. They can't decide that, you know, I'm eating too much. Or I get angry too fast. And I get angry for the wrong way. I get angry and I'm dead wrong. That time I was wrong. They can't do it. They can't take the responsibility. Therefore, you end up in that, you know, in that position where they're like, look, let me just get you this medication. You know, because you're not strong enough to admit to when you're right and when you're wrong. You're not being real with yourself. Instruction number 16 says, thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. So, if taking responsibility as the second step. First step is to at least try to be sincere. Consider it. The next step is to take responsibility. Taking responsibility is like Brother Cole also said, when you bow down yourself to truth. Right? The person who takes responsibility has got to bow down and say, look, I don't care if I don't want to admit it. That's the truth. Truth is all is a law. I'm going to bow down to the truth. I'm not going to sit there and hang out with a lie. Right? I'm going to bow down to the truth. You know, it says in the chapter on soul, it says, health is to the body as honesty is to the soul.
That's right.
Chapter 5 says you got to use the hammer to pound it in. Pound the truth in and make it a part of every part.
That's right.
You know, but once you begin to take responsibility, you're sincere and you take responsibility, you realize I have certain things wrong with me. Now you're looking around for something to give you the power to overcome those weaknesses. And this is why Jesus said, by many cords I'm bound down to carnal life. He said, have I the strength to overcome and be the strength of Allah made manifest. You start realizing, you know what, this lower self is kind of a little bit intimidating. He been in the gym. He like he's used to telling me what to do, and I'm not gonna put my head down. I'm not gonna put my hands down. I'm not gonna turn my back on him. I gotta fight on him. I just need the strength to do it. You start looking for the strength. You know, when you look for strength more, you know, you will find power in yourself. This is the difference between a coward and the soldier who knows his strength because he faced his foes. And his thought has been developed through the exercise of strength. The person who's scared to fight is always going to be a coward. You know, you look for that power and you find it. Instruction 16 says I got it on the wrong page. Instruction 16 in chapter 3 says, thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his highest self. Thrice blessed is the man who made purity. Purity is that part when you begin to deal with the truth, you begin to face the truth, and you begin to purify yourself. You purify yourself of impurities like all the carnal things that we ingest and we put in our body that we're not supposed to. But it's also when you purify your heart with the truth. You start pounding in the truth and make it a part of every part. And you start feeling. You ever notice that the warrior the stronger man is the man who knows that he's right and you're wrong. Now you're wrong and you want to give me a hard time. You trying to back me into a corner and you dead wrong. A certain type of power comes from that. He says, you know what, I did what I was supposed to do. I'm not wrong. I'm right. And it gives you the strength to fight. And there's a power that comes from there. You know, when you make that you have to first be right. If you ever try to have a fight and you dead wrong, or you accidentally wrong, or you little bit wrong, that's a terrible fight. You trying to fight somebody that's right and you wrong. You don't got it's not enough, it's not the same amount of strength there. It's not unlimited strength. Thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his highest self. Men seek salvation from an evil that deems a living monster. This is talking about the world now, not just one man. Of the neither world. And they have gods that are but demons in disguise. All powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust. Whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with the shadow of a thought. And this is what happens when you begin to try to do what's right. And those foes that seem like they're impossible to overcome with the power of the truth, you start to realize that they're just shadows. You know, they're just shadows that'll melt away. You know, so I'm going to go into instruction 21, says something very deep. Instruction 21. I don't know if the Moors, it says the only devil which man must be redeemed is self. The only single devil which man must be redeemed is self, the lower self. By show of hands, let me see it in put your phones away. By show of hands, who all believed at one point in time that there was a devil? It was Satan that lived in hell somewhere. You ever believe that? I see a couple hands, right? And you thought about the devil and what the devil looked like, where does he live, right? And then later on, prophet told us there ain't no devil that's actually down inside of hell nowhere. You know, after we do a little bit, all of us are well read, and we start to realize, wait a minute, they done tricked us and told us it was a devil. Ain't no devil. Or you can't figure out how to, at first you just can't figure out where to find them or have proof. And then later on you start to realize, so wait, let me see if I can find, I was a warrior. I was I would say a spiritual warrior type most of my life. If you look into the stuff I was doing, and by the time I got old enough to think right, I was always like, I want to battle, I want to save our people, I want to go against the devil. And at a certain point, I was like, maybe the devil is incarnated on the earth somewhere. I'm gonna find him. You try to find the most evil person in the world, and you're looking around. And you're like, well, ain't nobody really that evil, most evil, that you can find him and you eliminate him. Then you're gonna eliminate everybody else. There's a lot of semi-evil people around the world. You know, I started looking around. I mean, I was in the library of industry. I always say this. At a certain point, before I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, I was revolutionary to the point that I considered having warfare in the United States. Like, you're gonna fight this European because what they did. That's right. And at a certain point, you start looking, well, who is the main cause? Or even if I was gonna target somebody, who could I target? You start looking around like, this person is real bad, but they didn't set up this system that they're utilizing that is bad. It's not really them. If you get them, you're not gonna root out the problem. And you start looking at Europeans, you're like, some of these Europeans ain't bad at all. And then you look at our people, some of them are real bad, some of us are real bad. And you start to realize that there ain't no devil that you're gonna be able to put your hand on, that you can kind of find in one personified. You start to realize, man, it is itself is messed up in a way. The prophet is telling us the only real devil is yourself.
That's right.
Only devil is yourself. If you're blessed enough to kind of stumble across your first bit of metaphysics, right? It's metaphysics, quantum physics, and you start to realize how the universe is actually mimicking you in a certain way, you start to realize there's definitely some contribution that I'm not aware of that I'm giving to the outside world. It says the only devil is self. It says, if man will find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man will find his savior, he must look within. And when this demon self is dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. In the same way we were looking for a devil, and we see a show of hands who people believe that at some point in your life, you believe that Jesus was going to come back and then save the world, open up the sky and come down and start kicking over the bad people and fixing everything. And then you realize, probably maybe that's not going to happen? Seriously? And you realize, hey, no, Jesus ain't coming to save us in one swoop. Coming with the chair. I used to think the aliens. I was like, all right, Jesus ain't gonna, maybe it's the aliens gonna come. Because I was doing my research and I found out, oh, aliens is Asiatic. The angels are gonna come and fix all of this. Watch, just wait, I'm just waiting. And you start to realize the angels ain't, the aliens are just watching. They can't come. The angels can't intervene. They gotta work through man. There gotta be some man is gonna come.
That's right.
And you start thinking about, I remember in 2008, I was like, Farrakhan, got this, yo. Farrakhan is going, you know what I mean? Everything is lining up. It's going to be Farrakhan. Farrakhan's going, at the next Million Man March, he's going to say, everybody's Moors. We got to go through the Moor side symbol of America. Let's all come through. And he's waiting. He's like, oh, Farrakhan ain't even trying to do it. Farrakhan, you know, you can't call Farrakhan a fraud or right. He let us down. That's not Farrakhan's responsibility. I'm like, maybe Barack Obama. In his second term, he going to tell him, reparations. In order to get reparations, you got to come to the Moor side symbol of America. That's how everybody's going to drive in, and it's going to jumpstart. Barack Obama didn't do it. Barack Obama didn't do nothing. And it starts to dawn on you.
Prophet.
That's right.
We got to do this. We got to do this ourselves. I might have to do this by myself. If I got to do this by myself, I'm not trying to hear it. And you start realizing the lines and everybody's looking at you. Everybody's looking at Brother Berry-Bey. So you start to get that feeling. It's about Sister Berry-Bey. I got the power in me.
That's right.
I can get this done without anybody else.
That's right.
Allah put something in you that you start to sense it. After you put the work in, you say, you know what? It don't even matter. If everybody else is off the on the bench, we gonna make it happen.
That's right, Muslim.
I feel the team. I can feel the power lines. I sense Allah's in me. We earn this. We put the work in and we earn this. You know, ain't no heaven in the sky, ain't no Jesus coming down. Judgment Day is a personal thing.
Right.
Judgment Day is a personal event.
That's right.
And I'm gonna end by reading instruction 22. It says, you know, instruction 22. If it says, if man will find a savior, he must look within. And you start to look within. You know, a master knows that this man has the Quran told us that there's a power.
That's right.
In the eye. There's a power in the arm. You know, man is the seed of Allah. Why would the angels have to come down and pull the seed open? The seed got to open up in the furnace. Right? Like Sister Berry-Bey, the powder must make the furnace before the porcelain is prepared. The ground must be toiled before the seed can be planted.
That's right.
You're being tested for a reason. That's the seeds of Allah and all the attributes of Allah unfolded. We have to be the savior that we're looking for.
That's right. Come on.
You know, to come onto the scene. That's a very personal thing.
That's right.
And willpower is the key. That ladder of salvation that brother Ferguson-El was talking about. Well, you gotta have the will to say, you know what?
That's right.
I'm gonna try.
That's
I'm gonna look. Let me just start with looking in the mirror first and see what's there. Let me not be scared by what I saw. And let me see what I got on my person to do battle with that thing I see in the mirror. And you start thinking, like, oh, I got power. Let me not get gassed. Let me get excited. Let me not get too impatient. Let me take my time. We're gonna take our time with this.
Right.
You know, but you know, they strive and naught goes down.
That's right.
And man, it's the truth about it. I want to give honors to the officials of Temple Number 3. I want to give honors to the assistant chairman, Sister Berry-Bey, to the chairman, Brother T. Ferguson-El. I give honors to the treasurer, Brother T. Berry-Bey. I give honors to my big brother, Brother Civic-El. I give honors to all of the members. Temple Number 34. I give honors to Brother B. Cyrus-El, Brother T. Berry-Bey. I give honors to my sister, Sister Medina. Christina, and our beautiful children, Majestic, and Isis. I give honors to my brother in the back, who had courage enough for the truth.
Islam.
You know, what brings you through the door to Moorish Science Temple of America is belief. I believe perhaps this could be the truth.
Come on.
This is a prophet is supposed to be here, so I better come to where the truth is.
That's right.
Bow down myself and
Islam,
consider. You know, I give honor to all of the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all the members of Temple number 34. And with that, Moors, I say peace. Peace. We're marching into Mecca,
that beautiful city of love.
Now we're marching
into Mecca,
that
beautiful city of love.
Now if you
wanna know where we're bound, that beautiful city of love.
into
The holy city, Moabites we find. That beautiful city of love.
now we're marching
We're marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love.
Now we're
marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love.
If you don't have a pure heart, then you will regret.
That beautiful city of love.
You won't make it into Mecca because the angels protect you there.
That beautiful city of love.
Now we're marching
into Mecca. That beautiful city of love.
Now we're
marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love.
Islam.
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 I want to thank our Grand Sheikh for that demonstration and all the demonstrations tonight. Praise Allah. At this time, we're going to call on our Grand Sheikh to read the warning.
Time.
Islam.
Islam.
January 15th, 1929. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing a turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet.